I'm with Video 62 here, and today we're going to be reading about experiment log T98816 OC108, experiment log about Scp-682, the impossible to kill lizard. Cause SCP termination testing for SCP-682. Due to the highly aggressive, adaptive, and intelligent nature of SCP-682, the termination testing has been ordered, with clearance from O5 Command, with major concerns raised about the possible developed immunities due to the failure of SCP-409 and possible adaptations. All tests must be first carried out on tissue samples taken from SCP-682. This step may be bypassed only by O5 Command Order. Item SCP-017 Tissue Test Record. Sample swallowed by SCP-017 without incident. Termination test record. SCP-682 exposed to SCP-017. SCP-682 issues several sounds at extremely high volume, damaging several recording devices. Sound extends across several wavelengths, reported as the most god-awful roar by staff. SCP-017 appeared to stumble, then returned to a far corner of the containment area. SCP-682 attempts to break containment of both SCP-682 and SCP-017. SCP-682 is suppressed by agents and removed. SCP-682 states, "You fool bag of tissue. You did it expunged." Notes: it's unclear if SCP-682 somehow damaged SCP-017 or communicated with it. Analysis of record sound is ongoing. Next item. SCP-063 Tissue Test Record. Sample eradicated. No traces above molecular level remain. Termination test record. SCP-063 was refitted to the end of a rotary arm, which was deployed into 682's enclosure. Initial approach proves partly successful, with 682 losing more than 20% body weight before regeneration overtakes the destruction process. Newly regrown tissues are now vulnerable to SCP-063's eradication effect. 62 destroys the deploying arm, and 062 digs a hole through the enclosure ground, where it later recovered. 682 succeeds in extending a long, prehensile limb through the hole and maiming 2 security personnel before containment is reestablished. Hypothesis: 62 is not bound to base Earth biological chemistry and can adapt itself to be organic or inorganic as necessary. Some of the boards on the lab are arguing whether we can even classify it as living, at least as we understand life. This worries me, because an unliving, undying, intelligent monster, well, that's where you start getting sacrifices in your name. No, from Dr. Zara. Next on SCP-162. Tissue test record. Sample tangled without incident. Termination test record. SCP-682 exposed to SCP-162. SCP-682 began thrashing violently, emitting several roaring sounds and issuing profanity directly at testing staff. SCP-62 becomes entangled with SCP-162, primarily in the lower body, head, and left forelimb. Entangled areas undergo massive trauma due to SCP-62 interaction. After forming a continuous exposure, SCP-62 lunges away from 162, levering its lower jaw and left hind limb, and causing serious tissue damage to many areas of its body. 162 remains attached to the forelimb of 62. 62 British containment using 162 against several agents, staff, and researchers, revolving in 11 deaths and 86 injuries. Forelimb and 162 removed from 62 during the establishment of containment. 2 additional deaths occurred during the containment of 162. General B has requested that Mr. Lovencrim and the members of the staff involved of the approval of this test report to Site Command for disciplinary hearing. 061 Testing record overridden by 05 command. Termination test record. SCP-62 exposed to SCP-061 as we enters the relaxed state consistent with 061 exposure. 62 is given the command lie down. 62 means unresponsive. Command repeated twice before 62 lowers itself to the ground, moving in order to be sluggish and jerky. 62 given the command to roll onto your back. 62 unresponsive. Command repeated 3 times. 62 shows us several times, partly rolling over before returning to former position. Command repeated 6 times. 62 appears to undergo a violent seizure, partially rising before collapsing to the floor. 62 given the command stand up. 62 rapidly rises and breaches containment. 62 ignores all given commands given to it. Several agents and staff respond to established containment. 62 emits a high-pitched screech. All human beings in 15-meter radius studied enter the relaxed state consistent with 061 exposure. 62 consumes several members of staff before being contained by the specially equipped emergency response team. Sonic adaptation from 62 after 2 weeks. Note: study into how 62 interrogated 061 into its biology is ongoing. Item SCP-053 Issue Test Record NA Overridden by 05 Command. Termination Test Record SCP-62 introduced to 053 containment area. 62 appears to be very confused, shows no signs of being infected by 053. 053 appears to be afraid of 682 and hides behind a chair in her containment area. 682 lowers itself to the ground, resting itself on the floor. SCP-053 approaches SCP-682 and after several seconds of hesitation, briefly touches 682 before rapidly returning to high spot. SCP-682 does not react anyway. 053 approaches SCP-682. Passes has gotten to exhale through its frontal 4 nostrils. 053 claps and hums in place several times to prevent bursting the head of 682. For the remainder of the testing period, 682 appears to be in a very docile state, with only 2-level escapes attempts in being made. 053 is observed to bring toys and other items to 62 and make several drawings on his forward carapace with crayons. Staff entering at the end of the test phase are immediately attacked by 682, resulting in 2 deaths and 5 injuries. 682 contained and moves to separate containment unit. 053 observed crying for several minutes after 682 is removed. The reaction of 682 is notable for several reasons. First, it is one of the few instances where 682 has come in contact with biological tissue and not entered a rage state. Second, it has raised questions as to the physical makeup and composition of 053. And of course, to the lack of response of 682. Third, it has provided a possible solution to a long-term containment. However, approval for the mutual containment of 2 highly dangerous SCP items in a single containment unit is unlikely. As item SCP-123 Tissue Test Record. Tissue sample absorbed by the core. Termination Test Record. Test canceled after a few testing done between SCP-162 and SCP-682. The potential issue arising from the SCP-682 gaining control of SCP-123 are too great at this time. Review of this proposal will be made if SCP-682 is totally incapable by some means, with no potential of escape of a sudden adaptation. This will be the last one for the day. This is part 1. Part 2 will be next week. SCP-173 Tissue Record and Session overridden by 05 Command. SCP Test Record. SCP-682 introduced into containment area of SCP-173. SCP-682 makes several screeching sounds and quickly presses against the wall farther from one SCP-713. Staring at the entire time, SCP-682 continues to stare at SCP-173 without pause for 6 hours. Agents equipped with large caliber sniper rifles dispatched and shoot out the eyes of 682 at the same time stopping all observations of SCP-173 and 682. After resuming observation, 682 is shown to be on the floor with several injuries around his head, neck, and legs. SCP-173 seemed to have issues from SCP-682 on his hands. SCP-682 rapidly regenerates damage and moves to a different wall, developing several sets of eyes and on various parts of its body, many covered by thick, clear caps of armored carapace. SCP-682 maintains observation of SCP-173 for an additional 12 hours. Despite additional efforts of SCP agents and Foundation staff, 682 allowed to exit containment and recapture in temporary containment. Note: after review, it appears SCP-173 was unable to do lethal damage to 682 due to the major in physical size. A partial repeat of this study may be able to be made if 682 is damaged enough to reduce its physical mass to a level equal with 173. That is it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next. Bye, y'all. That's just it, y'all.